Listen, dating down will bring you down. A lot of people are not looking for love. They're looking for help. Stop trying to date while you struggle, because you open the door for people to have power over you and control you and manipulate you when you are not financially secure. 3 C's you need prior to dating: your own car, crib, and your own career. If you don't got those 3 C's, stop dating. Also, you must master detachment. You must have enough discernment on when to know to put an end to something that no longer serves you. That's when you become unstoppable, when you're able to release people at the right time, so it does not interfere with your destiny, with your blessings, with your calling, with your purpose.
Attractive women cannot afford to date down. If you're dating somebody who is beneath you, who, you're clearly out of his league, and he's an insecure guy, he will always take it out on you. And this also goes for a man who clearly can't afford you. You're also out of his league. You have to be really careful, because these emasculated, insecure men, they're going to end up enraged because they're so emasculated, they're so insecure, and the only way they can make their sad little selves feel better is by exerting some form of control over you, potentially even abuse, to put you in your place. Because insecure men have this need to enforce this sick power dynamic where you're beneath him. And the clearer it is that you are not beneath them, that he is beneath you, the more triggered he will be. And honestly, the more that you're going to become his emotional and sometimes his physical punching bag. So if you're in a relationship where you resonate with anything that I just said, please just get out. Get out of there. You're much better off single than with a guy whose attitude is to take you down a peg. After you've been out of that dangerous situation, I want you to really do the deep work. Commit to healing your self-confidence, because the universe gave you a gift. You can only date confident, successful guys. God is not going to let you date down. And look at that as a gift, because it is.
I see a lot of you young women on here getting excited about the scraps from men. Like, oh my God, he texted. Like, as if you're not the prize. As if you're supposed to be waiting around for scraps from people that you're likely dating down with. So you're not waiting for scraps, and you're definitely not dating down. If you have to date down, be alone. If you have to wait for scraps, be alone.
Someone asked me recently what my thoughts were on dating outside of my social class, and I answered that I would quite literally never do that, and here's why. For the purpose of this question, I took social class to sort of mean socioeconomic class, so my economic status, maybe around how much money I make, the social status, perhaps the caliber of school that I went to and the spaces that I found myself in as a result, and the people I found myself surrounded by. And then also the lifestyle I've created for myself that's a combination of the economic status and the school and the spaces and all of that. I think you guys get how that fits together. It's important to note that I did not grow up with a lot of money. My father went to prison when I was 4 years old. During that time and all the time after, my mom has been a public school teacher, so they don't make a lot of money. When we first moved to Atlanta, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 7 people sharing 1 bathroom. I literally shared the bottom bunk of a bunk bed with my second oldest brother, and then my oldest brother and my sister-in-law were on the top bunk of that bed. Okay, we were not a Jack and Jill family, okay? Money was not... we didn't have a lot of it. So knowing my circumstances, when I was 12 years old, I made this vision board for myself. My mom actually found recently in her storage unit. I had basically carved out my entire life, what I was gonna do in high school to make sure I could get into an Ivy League college, and what I was gonna do at that college to make sure I could get into a certain law school or buy a certain car and have a certain apartment or home. All of these things I had planned out, and I knew that because my family didn't have the same financial resources someone else's did or access to certain people to get me into doors, I had to open them myself. So that's what I did. I created an insane amount of opportunities for myself by literally putting my blood, sweat, and tears into everything I did. From the time that I was 12 years old until now, 23, I was so intentional about every decision I made, whether it was not dating in high school or not drinking or prioritizing school or trying to get different scholarships. I did everything in my power to make sure that the life I was creating for myself while I was kind of stepping into the autonomy that I would have as a young adult, even as a teenager going into a young adult, being able to create the life I want to, that I was doing everything in my power to have something different than what I had growing up. And of course, I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to stay up all night applying to scholarships to earn over $500,000 to go to college. I didn't have to apply to Columbia and do all the things that is required to get into a school like that. But I wanted to, because I wanted to have a certain life. Even when it comes to content, when I started making content, I was taking 19 credit hours. I was working 3 days a week in office at my internship, but then I was also working with a tech startup virtually, and then I also started doing content, and it was probably one of the hardest times in my life. But again, I knew that I wanted to set myself up for greatness, and that is what was required. So knowing that, understanding how much work I put into the person that I wanted to be and the life I wanted to have, feels so unfair to me now, and also to my younger self, who was just so forward thinking and like put so many things on the back burner to prioritize the life that I would have right now. For me to date someone who cannot give me the life that I've always wanted, like they can't match it. I don't even need you to give it to me because I've already gotten it for myself, but if you can't be right there with me, it's not fair to me to lower my standards or accept certain things that I knew I never wanted to, which is why I work so hard on myself just so that I can be with you. And it is not lost on me the fact that a lot of guys my age are just not gonna have what I have, because I'm in a very unique position to make an insane amount of money for someone my age. And that's where the other part of the socioeconomic status comes in. I need to at least see that you have worked as hard as I have to put yourself into certain spaces, to open up certain doors for yourself, to go to certain schools or whatever it is, because you have this intrinsic ambition and drive, because you know that you also have your eyes set on the sort of lifestyle that I do, and that is what you're actively working towards every day. Not having that does not make you a bum. It doesn't make you undesirable. It doesn't make you an unattractive man or anything. It just makes you incompatible with me and the lifestyle that I want to have. I appreciate the drive that I have and the confidence that has been instilled in me because of all the things I've been able to do for myself, and I really appreciate that in other potential partners as well. So if I'm really considering like seriously dating someone, not just like a casual date, whatever, this is something that is a requirement for me. It's not like oh, I hope, or maybe I will. I've tried it before. I'm not doing it. This is what I require, and I don't think it's a lot to ask. Shit, I asked it of myself at 12, and look at where I am.
You have to understand, men do not have feelings. They lie, they can manipulate, they can use you, abuse you, and not feel guilty. Men are not like women. They are not emotional. In some way, I would say, don't even think they have a heart. Maybe the heart is beating just to have them, breathing and everything, but do not look at men the way that you look at yourself. Men are not as women. And men can be intimate with many women and do not have soul ties, do not get hurt, and be completely normal, because it's in their biology. They need to spread the seed. They do not feel attachment. For them, it's just an exercise. Imagine if I have, mosquito bite. If I'm sitting at the nature in my garden and a mosquito will bite me, what will happen? Automatically the blood rushes there and I feel irritation, I feel itch, and I want to itch that bite, right? So I'm going to itch it very much until the itch is gone. Then I'm going to leave it. And after 1-2 days, I'm not even going to remember about it because the bite is gone. The same is men who want to be intimate with you. For them, it's just a little itch. Oh, it's itchy now. Oh, okay, it's done. Oh, I forget about her. Now, okay, let's do business. Let's go out. Let's get this done. Let's go for a drive. Show me. Okay, great. Men are men. We are not judging them. We are not bashing them. We are talking about the